All right, welcome back, everybody. My name is Brandon Ivy, Global Power with Shopping Sherlock. Those of you on the conference call line that just joined us, if you are in front of your computer, you go to www.liveonedream.info. That is liveonedream.info, and you can see the screen, see the slides, and see what it is that we are going to be talking about this evening. Now, tonight is very special because we're going to talk about something that is simplistic and very important. And it's the number one reason why we're in a home-based business anyway. See, don't get it twisted when you hear people talk about their company and all the product and services they have and as great as they are. And they're great. In fact, I heard one of my old mentors used to tell me, said, you want to know if you have a successful company, would you still use the product even if you weren't getting paid and there was no compensation plan attached to it? When you look at Shopping Sherlock, the answer is yes. Why? Because I'm saving money on products that I'm going to buy anyway. A penny saved is a penny earned. Therefore, I'm actually making money by using the Sherlock just as a customer. So our product has extreme value outside of just the business model. But for those of us who are hungry, we're looking for something outside of our job. We're looking for something more out of life than just the 9 to 5 and hoping that we don't get laid off. And even if we don't get laid off, that's still not enough to survive on. We want long-term residual income. We might be tired of the hype of, fly-by-night companies. You hear stories on Facebook and social media of some clown that made $50,000 in 4 months and then, they're off promoting something else 5 months later. And then over and over and over and over and over again. It's always something new. It's always something different. See, one thing that I was looking for is a long-term legacy company. I'm not a hopper. I love stability, as strange as that may sound. I didn't say security, stability. There is a difference between the two. Security is something that you feel is guaranteed. And there's nothing really guaranteed in life, especially in business. But stability means that at least I know I have a chance, if I work hard, that the wheels aren't going to fall off and the rug isn't going to be pulled from underneath me. And my success is going to be determined on how hard myself and the team we have works. For long-term residual income. By the time I turn 50, I want to show up to conventions 4 times a year, and the rest of the time I'm on a beach somewhere while my income continues to come in. That's what I'm looking for. True residual income. And that is why I am here with Shopping Sherlock. Because this company is built to have true, long-lasting residual income. The focus isn't on bonuses. It's on building a dynasty and a legacy. And that might be a turnoff for some people that are like, look, I'm in a bad situation in my life. I need to make an extra $2,000 next week. My car's about to get repossessed. I'm behind on my house payment. I have creditors calling me. I need a miracle to happen today. Now, the sad thing about that situation is most people will spend 30 years of their lives developing skills and habits and making decisions that got them to the situation they are now, broke, busted, and disgusted. Then they join a home-based business and expect to make $10,000 next week. And if they don't, they quit, jump ship, they're on to the next. Or they're only attracted to promises of fast money. That's not what this is about. However, I truly believe that Shopping Sherlock, and I say I know for a fact, has the greatest long-term compensation plan in the industry. As a matter of fact, where is this? There's a vote going on right now. If you go to this website, you can actually vote for Shopping Sherlock to having the best compensation plan in the industry. But let's qualify a couple of things. Am I actually qualified to even be talking about this? One thing that I truly and fully believe is, never train on stuff that you haven't been there before. You're only talking about theory. What about things that are actually practical? Well, I've been in the industry of network marketing for 15 years. 10 of those years I was a miserable failure, and by failure I mean I didn't make a lot of money. Not at all. I made some money. I made good money a couple times, but not enough that changed my life. But I got to tell you that this is an industry of network marketing that is an education course with a compensation plan attached to it. Those 10 years that I didn't quit and didn't make any money, but I still learned, I still plugged in, I was still there, taught me everything that I know now, and is the reason why I have success today in anything that I do. Okay, whose mic just turned on? All right. Those 10 years of struggle, when most people quit in 3 months. I was 21 years old when I got started in this industry. 21, 22. I was a senior in college, right about to graduate. I think 22. And I was looking down the line. I said, yeah, I can look at working 40 years. I turned 60 and I'm broke. Or if it takes me 10 to 15 years and I retire in my 30s, is that okay? That's how I looked at it. Because 15 years is going to come anyway. But the last 5 years, I've had a lot of success. I've been the top producer, if not the top, one of the top producers of anything I was involved in. In fact, I was able to retire and walk off my job at the age of 36 years old. I'm documented in this industry. If you go to businessforhome.org, type in or click on the top 8,000 money earners in the world, I'm ranked there. I think I was ranked 3,000 and something out of 8,000 in the world. My goal is to break the top 100 within the next 15 to 16 months. And to break the top 100, you're probably going to need to be earning over 70,000 a month, something around there. Maybe 6 figures a month to break the top 100. I got to look at the list again. So it's always good to set goals for yourself. So I am documented. When I made my run to walk off my job, because we're talking about 12 weeks, and 12 weeks is 90 days. This is what I did. My first day in the business, signed up 15 people. It was a Friday night. I got started at around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I had 2 presentations that night, one at 6 and one at 8. I invited over 200 people. 40 of them showed up. Out of 40, 15 signed up. By the end of the first week, I had over 40 people on the team. By the end of the first 30 days, 30 days later, had over 137 people on the team. 60 days into it, 507 people. 2 weeks after those 60 days, broke 1,000. 90 days into it, well over 2,000 people on the team. I was making over $12,000 a month. I have made $20,000 a month in this industry and more. So I say that not to impress you, but just to impress upon you that although income earning statements is not typical for everybody, I'm qualified to speak on this because I've done it. And I'll have an income disclosure at the end. There's no guarantee this is what you're going to do. I just want to show you what's possible if you put your head down and go to work. But the first thing that you have to get into your head is that you must do your part. See, when you're on a job, even though they tell you might be a part of a development team or a part of a department and you're all working as a team, you're really not. Everybody's stabbing each other in the back, talking about bad about each other, looking for any which way to try to get a leg up over the other person, even taking credit for other people's work. It's a dog eat dog world on a job. People say, I love the people I work with. Okay. Some of you that is true. I can't say it's for all. But you're not really a team. You're a team because the boss is telling you what to do. See, when you're in a home-based business like this, there is nobody that can do it by themselves. Nobody can do this by themselves. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. The better other people do, the better you do. The more people you help, the more you help yourself. The more money you help somebody make, the more money you make. If you focus on the other people instead of yourself, you end up helping yourself. Most people don't really ever get that in this industry. But I like to equate this to, we got March Madness going on right now in basketball, and basketball's a team sport and everything. Not as much as football, baseball, and the others. You get one LeBron James on your team, there you go. One Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, one Kobe Bryant. But I like to equate it more to track and field. I'll tell you my track and field story. I went to an all-boy high school called Damien High School in Laverne, California. Can you imagine if you've ever been to a Catholic school, all-boy school, you're looking at boys all day long? Yeah, it helps you with your concentration. I couldn't imagine. In fact, when I think about it, my high school was all boys. Then I went to Morehouse College, which is an all-male school. So my entire, from ninth grade to graduation of college, I was focused. I didn't have any distractions. But as soon as that bell rang, we were hunting for women, hunting for girls, going to the malls and everything. And I went with a friend of mine, I think it was my sophomore year, to what's called a track invitational. If you've ever been to one of those before or seen one of those, cross country is the same thing. And it's where you have at one school or one college, maybe 15 to 20 different schools are all there competing. And track and field, you have different events. You've got the 100 meter, the 200, the 400. You've got the javelin, the shot put. You've got high jump, triple jump, long jump, hurdles. And you are an expert in your field. You're an expert in your area. Me, I did not like to run at all, but I played basketball. And I was good at jumping. So I did probably, as far as I was concerned, the most laziest thing I could do, that I didn't have to do a whole lot of running, was long jump, triple jump, and high jump. I quickly realized there's a whole lot more to it than just jumping. Technique that comes involved in that. Not just raw talent and skill. But at an invitational, when you do an event, your score gets counted amongst your entire school score. So everybody's scores it's not, yeah, I won my event. Yeah, but guess what? We lost the meet. Everybody participates for the benefit of the team. And on our team, the way we were set up, we didn't want to let our team down. Because all it would take, everybody could do what they're supposed to do, and all it takes is that one person that doesn't come through. And we all lose. You're only as strong as the weakest person on your team, or the slowest person on your team. That's why I always keep myself at the bottom of the organization. I put in more time and effort working with the people who are at the bottom. So someone just signed up, I think, on my 100th level, and I will act as if I'm their sponsor. I don't care where you are in my organization. Left leg, right leg, weak leg, strong leg, doesn't matter to me. One way or another, it will benefit me eventually. But the more success you're having, the more success I'll have. And I remember, and I really understood this, it was a Mount Sac Invitational. And I had jumped and broke a record and was number 2 in the state in long jump. Then I jumped 24-something feet that year. But to back up, oh yeah, the reason why I was only did it because there was I saw how many girls were at the track invitation. That's the only reason why I ran track, and I turned out to be good at it. I was like, look at all these girls from all these different schools. This is going on every Saturday. Oh man, I'm here. Where do I sign up with a team? But what ended up happening was I did good at one event, and in that event, because of what I did, and it added to the total, we won the league championship, and I was given the trophy, the school's championship trophy that normally it gets put on school display. They gave it to me, and that's when I truly understood. If we all do our part, it benefits everybody. Same thing here on our team in this business and this industry of network marketing. If each of us just does our part, everybody walks off their job. How would you like to have, I don't know, we may have 70 something people on this line right now. How would you like to have 70 something people all walk off their job this year? What kind of movement will that have? How many lives could change? It's not about one person doing a whole lot. It's about a lot of people doing just the bare minimum and basic. So pay close attention to what I mean by doing your part, first and foremost. And you check yourselves as well and ask yourself, have I done my part? See, here's the thing. The first thing is you got to plug into the system. That's doing your part. Because plugging into the system doesn't just help you, it helps out everybody else. We said it on our team call a few weeks ago by playing team. I don't have any guests. I'm not going to show up to the presentation. That's why you need to be on the presentation. Because some of your team members do have guests. And the more people that's on, the more energy that's there, the more that people see things are happening. I mean, if you go to a party on a Friday night and there's only 30 people in the party and 27 of them are guys, are you going to stay? No. Well, some may, but mostly no. That's why they have ladies get in free. The women are the bait. Clubs know what they're doing. The women are the bait to get the guys coming in spending all money on the club and buying drinks for the girls. Right? So if you don't have a guest, you need to be there to support the team. If you do have a guest, you want your team members there to help close out your people. You plug into ceostraining.info. Why does this help the team? Because we send out an email update every single day about what's going on. So because you plugged into the system, you're now informed and you don't have to spend all day tracking your sponsor down, asking them 1,000,001 questions on what's the website, what's the telephone number. It's the same website and telephone number every single week. And every single day somebody sends me a message. What's the website? What's the telephone number? This is your business. Treat it like a business. I'm not your mom. I can't pull out your socks for you and dress you every morning to go to school. You're a big boy and a big girl. This is your business. Plug in. Have yourself a business folder with Shopping Sherlock on the cover. We have our schedule of events there. The next website is powerteammarketing.com. We have steps. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4, all in video format since we know people don't like to read. Just watch the videos. Just press play. When you have a lot of people on your team, and there's only 24 hours in a day, it is impossible for you to be able to spend 30 minutes and an hour with every single person every single day. That's why we have a system. So that the little guy who just got started gets the same access to all the training that the guy at the top gets. If you plug into the system, everything you need to know is on that site. Online marketing, offline marketing, scripts. We even have our archive of all of our trainings, like this one that's being recorded right now, will be on that site. Learn directly from the top guys. You know who my greatest mentors are? People that I have never met. Yeah. Jim Rohn. Les Brown. I met Tony Robbins. I walked on fire with him 4 years ago. Holton bugs. I never met Holton. He has no idea what type of impact he's had on my life. I don't need to be in his company. Wallace D. Waddles, Napoleon Hill, Earl Nightingale. I can go back hundreds of years. Why? Because they left something behind that you can learn directly from them instead of hand-me-down. I don't need to go to Darren Hardy to learn about Jim Rome. Who's Darren Hardy? He's the producer of Success Magazine. He's in charge of Jim Rohn's foundation, sort of. But plug in SherlockPowerTeam.com. Plug into that. We're giving you a free website you don't even have to pay for. See, that's one thing. When it comes to being a leader in an upline, we created these things. I don't have an upline above me that's holding my hand, that's teaching me what to do. I don't need one. In fact, in my experience, and this is just me in my own experience, but my upline has always held me back or got in the way one way or another over the last 5 years. Every single one of them. I have not found an exception to that rule, and that's for me. So I come out of the pocket. I pay. So people think, I got to pay $34 a month. This is your business. At the most, I was spending over $2,000 a month into my business, marketing and traveling and dinners and breakfasts and meetings, hotels and rental cars and plane tickets, websites. The conference call you're on costs money. This webinar platform costs money. The websites cost money. You guys aren't paying for them. We are. That's what leaders do. Because we don't want to make just a few $100. We want to make thousands. But all you have to do until you get to that point, if you're still in the learning phase, because I didn't start off that way. I was a part of a team. The first team I was a part of was called GTU, Global Telecommunications and Utilities. University, actually, under Sam Orm and Montrell Jackson in ACN. That was my school. That was more valuable to me than my college degree at Morehouse College that I paid thousands of dollars for. That team I was a part of is why I know everything I know now, and I'm able to implement it. In fact, if you were to go back 15 years and see what they do, it's like, whoa, that's like power team marketing. I didn't make this stuff up. SherlockPresents.com. Tonight, I'm going to update that. I need to change the video on the front page. It's going to be that affiliate video, the one that I showed about the compensation plan. So I'm going to write down that note. I always say I'm going to do it and I get distracted. But I'm going to try to change that video tonight. Now here's the other part of do your part. See, when I was running track, I knew if I didn't do my part, I let everybody down, and there was no way in the world I was going to let anybody else down on my team. I take that same stance in my business. I want this more, so bad, I want it more bad than you do for yourself. Have you ever been in that situation where you want something bad more for them than they do for themselves? It's all the time. That's why at the end of the day, you work with people who want it, not with people who need it, because everybody needs it. But you work with people who want it for themselves. You can drag a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. But I can teach this. Just do your part. Bare minimum. Here's the bare minimum. Sign up 2 brand new people. I'm not even going to get to the power part yet. Power of 4. Just sign up 2 people and hit star affiliate. Out of everything we have in our company, it might get overwhelming for the new person to try to remember and understand all this stuff. Only thing you focus on. You don't focus on nothing else. Do not. In fact, I'm gonna be real strict with this soon. When people call me and they ask me questions, the first question I'm gonna ask: are you a star affiliate? If the answer is no, then don't worry about anything else until you hit star affiliate. because I'm distracting you by teaching you this, teaching you that, blah blah blah. I'm distracting you from doing the bare minimum, the basic. You can't get paid anyway on your downline as far as the two by the binary until you are a star affiliate. I have people on my team that have over 300 people in their downline and they're not a star affiliate. It boggles my mind. I'm like, I would pay two people to sign up just so I can get qualified. Are you kidding me? By any means necessary. I had one person on my team that's 400 people in his downline, not on auto ship, and he said, I can't afford $34.95. Really? Do you know how much money you're losing in banked volume? Some people you just can't help. All right? You let them go. You just shake your head and move on. See, the one thing that foreigners don't understand about Americans is how can you be broke in America? It's the greatest country in the world for opportunity. That's why foreigners come to America within one generation, they're millionaires. One generation. We've been here forever and on welfare. Just getting by. Some people you just can't help. Leave them alone. I'm looking for those people that's hungry, that's going to get to by any means necessary so that they can be positioned. It's $249. People walking around with Jordans that cost more than that, or jeans, women, or boots. Or we'll spend more money than that on the lotto. $249. Do you think you could find two people? $249. Even if you do, hey, you know, I even do certain deals with some people. Hey, listen, you bring two people, I'll give you $100 extra. Let's get your star affiliate out the way. If you have already done your part on this and gotten your two, type me in the chat box. If you have at least two. Because if you've done that and you're on auto ship, you've done your part. Congratulations. Thank you for what you're doing for the team. If you have not gotten your two, I'm going to give you a reason why you want to do it before March is out. Everybody on this presentation should be a star affiliate before this month is out. This following week is our last full week of March. Only two. Sign up 2 new people. The next, acquire 50 Sherlock customers. Lou Smith already has a training to do that in your first week in business. That's it. First week in business. So knock that out. Why? Because you need to, if you want to be a diamond, you got to have 40 Sherlock. So at least get 50 out of the way. I remember there was a guy in Sweden who qualified for Global Power, but only had 18 customers, so it wasn't a Global Power. Oh, I got to get a couple more Sherlock customers real quick. Already had 140 something people on the team, but didn't have enough Sherlock customers yet. See, understand, you want to get paid in this company, you have to get customers. This is not you just sign people up. No, you have to get customers. So knock out your 50 customers. Now let's talk about how you're going to earn $20,000. Pay close attention to this. We're going to talk about this in a weekly standpoint. 12 weeks. 12 weeks is 90 days. 12 weeks is 3 months. So this is March, and the end of March, so we're going to go on to April. So you're talking about April, May, and June. So how would you like to go into July and walk off your job in July? This is March. If you follow this, by July, you walk off your job. I did. I walked off my job July 13th. It was on my birthday. It was my birthday present to myself when I retired. So July can come around. That was a couple years ago. So July can come around, and that is your new birthday. The day you walk off your job. It's your freedom day. That's what I call it. I don't call it my birthday anymore. It's my freedom day. And there is no other feeling like it. Waking up on Monday morning and you don't have to go to work. You can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, and whenever you want to do it. Every day is a Friday. I want you to think of that feeling. What would it feel like to know that you no longer have to answer to a boss? You are the boss. Does that feel good? Or are you still thinking to yourself, that's not possible? I don't understand how that feels. I've never, I just can't, I can't imagine. I want you to imagine it. How does it feel to not have to go to a job anymore? How does it feel when Friday comes around and you just made money and you realize, I didn't work a job all week and I got paid? How does that feel? Capture that feeling of it. Think about it before you go to sleep. Think about it when you wake up in the morning. Think about it when a bill collector calls you. Think about it when you get some bad news, when you feel down. Imagine the feeling of freedom. Freedom. Now that you have that feeling, you know what you know what it feels like. See, here's the thing. You don't have to have it already happen to imagine what it feels like to be there. When the lotto last week was over $400 million, and every one of you that bought a lottery ticket, I know on your way home you imagine what it would be like if you won the lotto. Would you tell family and friends? What country would you visit first? What house would you buy first? Would you stand on the stage and let everybody know you won the lottery, or would you keep it secret? What clothes would you buy first? You imagine all your bills being paid. See, even as adults, we know how to imagine. We just stopped doing it when we became adults. We did it as kids. So now that you have that imagine, what do you have to do? What's your first step of getting there? Doing your part. Your first week. I don't care if you've been in this business 6 months or more. This is your first week in the business. Tomorrow's the beginning of the week, right? Your first week in the business. And even if you already have 2, you do this all over again. Sign up 2 new people. It's hard to raise the dead. Growing grass always covers up mud. Start fresh. Sign up 2 new people. Your first week. Have a chart. Write this down and put a check next to it once you've gotten your 2. Great. You've done your part. You know what the next part is? Teaching those 2 to duplicate you on your second week. So your second week in business, those 2 did exactly what you did. So now you have 4 people on your team, and guess what? You just made $10 a month of residual income. Whoopee! That's not walking off your job money, right? But at least you're on the board. You got something that started. You have something that's going. It's only $10. The next week, those 4 get 2. You now have 8 on your third week. That's a grand total of what, 14? But 8 brand new people in your third week. Congratulations, your residual income is now $20 a month. On that, well, total residual at this time is $30. Total residual income a month. Not that much, but listen, how much are you paying? $34 a month? At this point, you're only paying $4 a month to be in the business. Because you're making $30 a month your third week in the business. You're almost in that profit zone. Your fourth week in the business. Remember, everybody is just getting their 2. I didn't say you get more than 2. Just 2. Fourth week, you added another 16 people to your team. Your residual income is now $70 a month. You're in profit. Congratulations. Do you know most companies, it takes them 3 to 5 years just to get in profit or break even? In 4 weeks, you are now doubling what it costs to be in the business. So not only are you covering your cost, but you have an extra $34 coming in every single month. So now everything is a profit from this point forward. You're not spending money to be in the business. You're in profit zone. I don't care if it's $5 over. That's a profit. But here's the key. Everybody is doing their part their first week, getting their two. Fifth week in the business, you added 32 people to your team. Now you're at $150 total residual income. Uh-oh. You got something to start talking about now, right? Your cell phone bill's getting paid. Wow. But hey, that's an extra $150 a month to go to the movies. Maybe twice with the family of four. You really have to realize how expensive that movies is? Or pay for gas for the month. Gas here in California is over $4 a gallon. It costs like 40 something bucks or 50 bucks just to fill up your tank. You got gas money for the month. Do you know when I was working a job, there was times where I did not eat lunch and I would lie and say that I'm eating lunch at my desk, and the real reason why is because I couldn't afford to go to lunch. I needed that money to pay for gas just to get to work. You know how pathetic that is? That's right. You just covered your gas payment now. Your sixth week in business. Everybody's just getting two. You now have 64 people on your team paying 34 bucks a month. Now you have $310 a month residual income. Now we're starting to see a real impact here. That could be health insurance for some people. Health insurance. Mine costs way more than that, but for some people, that's health insurance. That's paying for your cell phone bills. That might pay for some people's water bill, electricity bill, cable bill, and cell phone bill. For some people, 310 bucks just paid your bills. Now you have an extra $310 to do whatever you want with. Your seventh week in business, still less than 2 months in. You now have added an extra 128 people. By this time, you probably would have hit global power if you had got two more people. So you had a total of four. And they're duplicating this. You're probably at global power by this point. You only need to have 144 people bare minimum in two separate legs. So now that's an extra $630 a month residual income. $630. You know what the federal government stated? You guys remember the housing market boom or crisis? The foreclosures that almost collapsed our economy? They said that if the average home that went into foreclosure had an extra $500 a month, it would have eliminated over 70% of the foreclosures. What would have happened to the American economy if 70% of the people who filed for foreclosure didn't get foreclosed on? Imagine where our economy would be today. So you having an extra $630 a month to your fixed income is huge. That's an extra a little over $6,000 a year. So you just gave yourself a $6,000 a year raise on top of whatever it is you're currently earning. People say, I actually had one person tell me this. Brandon, I don't want to make an extra $700-800 because that's going to put me in a higher tax bracket. Okay. You're still thinking like a job. Even if you go in a higher tax bracket, you are getting a 1099, which is going to give you tax benefits. You're going to pay less in taxes, not more. People who understand that. Your 8th week in business, 2 months in, you just added 256 people to your team. You're now at $1,270 a month residual income. You're posting all over Facebook talking about join my team, I'm making money. Right? You're making videos about it. Your car note's being paid for. Some of you that pays for your rent or your mortgage. It's like for some of you, it's like getting a tax refund every single month instead of waiting once a year for it. That extra $1,270 a month residual income. And then the next week, your 9th week in business, you just added 512 people to the team. Now you're at $2,550 a month residual income. $25.50 a month, $2,550. Still not enough to walk off your job. But you're adding that on top of whatever it is you're currently earning. You realize that's over $24,000 a year? The average American family household of four earns $24,000 a year. You're doing that in your home-based business now in your ninth week. Now things get interesting. Exponential growth. Your 10th week in business. Remember, and it starts with you. If you don't do your part, how do you expect the people on your team to do theirs? You have to lead by example. If you say, I have two people, they're not doing their part, then go get two more who will. So the 10th week, you added an extra 1,000 people to your team. You're now at $5,000 a month residual income, $60,000 a year, 10th week in. Does it stop there? Hey, we get paid through infinity, not 5 or 7 levels deep, but infinity. If we only got paid 7 levels deep, you'd be stuck at $630 a month right now. Your 11th week in business, $10,230 a month residual income. 5 figures a month. You're at 6 figures a year. That's your 11th week in the business. Now you want to see something that's even more crazy. Your 12th week in business. 2, getting 2, getting 2, getting 2. 12 levels down. Doing it by week. $20,470 a month residual income. The reason why I like this slide is, again, I don't show anything that I haven't made before. I've made that before. I know that it can be done and that people are doing it. 20. What would happen to your life if you're making an extra $20,000 a month? A month. I remember my wife flipping out when I told her 1 month how much money I made. And she was like, what? Now she's standing right here. Were you excited?
Yes.
Yes, she was excited. $20,000 a month. Those of you that have that significant other that's always on your back, why are you doing that? Why are you always on the phone call? Why are you going to meetings? You're not making any money. Yeah, when the checks come in, the attitude changes. It's, can I have money to go and buy this and that and spend and blah, 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 blah? How would you like to retire your spouse? $20,000 a month. And guess what? It doesn't stop. I'm just giving you 12 weeks. Now, for those of you who say, oh, that's impossible. Not everybody are 2 on every single week. You're right. I'm just showing you the numbers. Numbers are perfect. People are not. Let's stretch this out over a year. What if it did this by monthly, not weekly? What if it took you 1 month to get your 2? And then it took them 1 month to get their 2. And it took them 1 month to get their 2. So by March or April 2015, you're now making $20,000 a month. Is that okay? It took you a year to do this. See, a year's going to come anyway. Let me tell you how I was thinking when I first got started in this industry. What if it took you 12 years? Some of you guys are funny, like, hey, it's going to take me 12 years to make $20,000 a month? Nah, I think I'll go play in TaxBot. I'll go do something else. You think 12 years is a long time, but you don't think working a job for 40 years to be broke is a long time. Where is that logic? You spend 4 years and thousands of dollars in college to graduate broke, to work for a job for 40 years, to retire broke. Where is that logic? But I'm showing you, what if it took you 12 years to make $20,000 a month? 12 years is going to come anyway. 12 years from now, I'm going to be 49. Oh, good grief. We're going to be 49 years old in 12 years. I can't believe that. Time is going by too fast. But guess what? 12 years is going to come anyway. Now, let's say if I did have that job mentality, would I be okay making $20,000 a month by the time I turn 49? Yeah, that's still better than me working a job. But hey, I got to keep it real. I'm not on that 12-year time frame. 12 years from now, you know what my goal to be making 12 years from now? I want to be making $4 to $5 million a month 12 years from now in this industry. I want to be paying like $5 to $10 million a year in taxes 12 years from now. Multi-millionaire. So I'm on the fast track. Let's compress time. Why wait that long? Let's do it in 12 weeks. Why not? We have people in this company making 5 figures a week right now, and the company's only 20 months old. Oh, and I'm not finished. It gets even better because I'm only talking about the residual income part, which is only 30% of our income. This is the $10 cycle bonus. That's it. It's not the 20% check match. It's not the override. It's not the equity. It's not the Sherlocks you're giving away. What about the bonuses? Na ha 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 ha. This is what the bonuses look like. In 12 weeks, that's $51,000 in bonuses. However, depending on your rank, there is a cap. There is a cap depending on your rank. You know what, Rich? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm reading this right. Give guys a thanks to Richard Worsley for breaking down these slides for me because I'm not that good with numbers. I'm good with numbers basically. He broke this down. But take a look at this. That's an actual total cycle bonuses after 12 weeks is $102,000. $102,000. Now, if you're a global or a diamond, remember the payout is up to $20,000 a week in the cycle bonus there. So cycle bonuses for the globals and the diamonds at $65,000. Now, if you are a star affiliate, you cap out at $2,000 a week. So if you do this 2 getting 2 getting 2 getting 2, $2,000 a week is $8,000 a month. That's where you cap out at. $8,000 a month at the first position of the company. You want to make more money? Get promoted as a power. You're now at the $3,000 a week. You cap out at $12,000 a month. Guys got that? So those are the bonuses. But I don't want to even focus on the bonuses. It's extra money. I want to focus on this residual. Because everybody's only paying $34.95. Guys understand that? People pay $34.95 for stuff right now and don't even know about it or remember it. $20,000 a month. What if you did more than 2? What if you got 4? The power of 4. Now, instead of this happening in 12 weeks, that'll happen in 6 weeks. If everybody did 4 instead of 2. Instead of 12 months, 6 months. If you guys are still with me, type I in the chat box. Hope you guys are still with me. And this is not even counting the 20% check match bonus. Now, why do I say that? Because there's always one person 4,000 people on my team. How can I have four? I don't know 4,000 people. I didn't ask if you know 4,000. I asked if you knew two. Do you know two? Who knows two? Who knows two? Let me highlight very quickly the 20% check match. Because the other way, people say, Brandon, how do I get to $10,000 a month? How many people would I need on my team to make that happen? Well, let me show you. Yeah. Less than 600 members on your team, and you're at 5 figures a month if you are a global power, and you help them to earn $100 each. Now, if you're teaching your team to duplicate two, getting two, then people are cycling, which means they're earning at least $100 each. As an extra 12,000 a month on top of what you're earning with 600 members. What if you had 5,000 members on your team? So remember the old 4,000 to get that 20,000 a month. You add another 5,000. Now you're at $100,000 a month on those same people from the 20% check match, which makes the 20,000 a month look like child's play. That's why you want to be a global. But I don't want to scare anybody with the money. I want to show you the bare minimum to getting to. Now, all references to income implied or stated through this document and the Shopping Sherlock comp plan does not guarantee any level of income or earnings to any affiliate. Earnings from the Shopping Sherlock comp plan depend solely on web app usage, sales, and each affiliate's skill, ability, and personal application. Now, you still need more belief on do you think it will be hard to find two people? I want to read to you just one article here. One article. In fact, I want to do better than a screenshot. Since I'm a little ahead on time here, I'm going to do some screen share, but let me pull up this video. So give me 1 second here. Oh, not video, it's the article from Starbucks. Because you heard Michael Weeder talk about Howard Schultz earlier today. Oh, I need to know the... Here we go. Starbucks Schultz. And that website. Alright, got the CNBC article here. Okay, I'm going to do some screen sharing. So let's make sure you guys can see my screen. Alright. If you can see my screen, type Y in the chat box. What in the world is that? Financial guidance, so she could take... Alright, you can see my screen. Howard Schultz, he's a billionaire owner of Starbucks, is playing Nostradamus. This article came out Friday, January 24th. What was significant about that week? Well, the third quarter earnings came out that week. And after that, you know, all the billionaires are able to analyze their business for the past 3 months. So because he did so, he was compelled to hop all over the news and start talking about something. So I'm going to read this article to you. And after reading this article, this should be a reason why you should be able to sign up 2 people tomorrow. Because this is what the billionaires are getting themselves positioned for. Title of the article, Starbucks Schultz says, and just for sakes, let me type in, I'll go ahead and give you this article. So you can look at it on your own or read along with me. Starbucks Schultz says there's a sea change happening in retail. They quoted a sea change. And I'm going to read this article to you like a lawyer would, okay? See, it's not just about reading it, it's about understanding what you're reading and breaking down the words, the meaning of the words. It's like highlighting it with a yellow highlighter. That's what we're going to do. So I would highlight sea change. Didn't say small change, didn't say ripple change, didn't say river change, didn't say temporary change, didn't even say temporary. It is a sea and the word is change. Those two words together means that this is huge. Happening in what industry? The retail industry. The retail industry is what makes this world turn. You guys understand that? The retail industry is the world economy. That's where money is exchanging hands. Here's what Schultz had to say. Look at this one right here. It says, Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz discusses how the Amazon effect, heard of Amazon.com? The Amazon effect will impact the way consumers shop and provides his take on how gift cards are likely to increase traffic and the company's bottom line. So this is what Howard Schultz is trying to do, okay? You don't buy coffee online, but he's going to sell gift cards online so that people will go, they'll be encouraged to go to the store and get the coffee. So he can't sell coffee online, but he will sell gift cards online. But take a look at this. This is a $1 million article. Fortunately, why did he start off with that word fortunately? Fortunately, consumers can't make lattes online. Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz told CNBC on Friday. If they could, then Starbucks would be among the traditional companies that may get swept away by what Schultz described as an online sea change encroaching upon brick and mortar retailers, most evident from a lackluster holiday gift giving season. Reporting first quarter earnings after the bell on Thursday, Starbucks said increased online shopping kept more U.S. consumers at home than usual during the holiday season, which meant less visits to coffee shops in malls and near retail outlets. Stop right there. Stop right there. This is why Howard Schultz is even speaking on this. First quarter earnings. Starbucks said increased online shopping, highlight online shopping, kept more U.S. consumers at home. Do you know why Black Friday is called Black Friday? It's because that's the day that most retailers depend on that gets their company into the black for the year. So no matter how bad sales have been all year, that day saves them. And black means you're in the black. You're in profit zone. So stores will wait 10 months not making a profit. And then going into November for Thanksgiving, now they're in profit. Now it's worth it. Black Friday. But what people are starting to do is they're starting to pay more attention to Cyber Monday. So U.S. consumers stayed at home during the holiday season. How does that impact Howard Schultz? Well, if you don't go to the mall, if you don't go shopping, if you're not going to Barnes & Noble, if you're not going to Macy's and Walmart, then you're not going to Starbucks. Bingo! And if you're not going to Starbucks, that hurts Howard Schultz's business. So he is out here sounding the alarm. You know, like the British are coming, raise the alarm. He's sounding the alarm. He goes on to say, in an interview with CNBC, Schultz said he believes December represents an inflection point. Highlight inflection point. What does inflection point mean? It's a window into the future where most people don't recognize that it's a window into the future. Billionaires recognize these points. I'll give you guys another example because this Saturday night is mostly when I do mindset training. And you know that old adage, they say, you know, I want more out of life, but it doesn't seem that things are coming my way. And then when you actually change your mindset, all of a sudden you think things come your way. You're like, where were these opportunities before? They were already there. You just didn't have eyes to see them. You just didn't recognize the opportunity. It was always in front of your face. Here's another example. A person prays for a better job, prays for more money, prays for a better life, and they end up getting laid off from the job they have. You know what they see? That is the glass half full or half empty. Oh, I prayed for a better life and I got laid off from my job. I wanted more and I have less. How dare you, God? I shouldn't have even prayed. I was better off staying where I was. Wrong. Because you didn't realize that getting laid off is now allowing you the time to have something better come into your world, but you were too busy to see it before. Either a better job or a better opportunity is right around the corner that you don't even know is coming. But because of your current job, you would have never been able to take it. The Great Depression. Do you know when the most entrepreneurs ever came in the United States of America? Because of the Great Depression. When people lost their jobs, they were forced to become entrepreneurs and start their own business and become millionaires. They were forced to become millionaires. Those same opportunities were there before the Great Depression. It's just people were so busy on their job and doing whatever they were doing, they didn't see it. So this is what billionaires use this word, an inflection point. In the growing use of online shopping services and mobile payment. You guys understand that? See, we are navigating through what I believe to be a significant sea change, Schultz said on Squawk on the Street. We're going to be talking about this for quite some time. In other words, this is not a fad, this is a trend. If there was no shopping Sherlock, knowing what I know today, I would be doing something in e-commerce. I'd probably drive up to Silicon Valley, get with one of the nerds up there that's starting up some mobile app and be like, beg them to put me on the docket. WhatsApp, $19 billion 4 years later. But we're going to be talking about this for quite some time. So don't be scared that things haven't blown up in America. That's a good news. See, two cases of that. Yeah, it's not growing in America. I guess it's a dead business. No. I'm glad it's not growing in America because I'm the first. How are you looking at the same situation? We're going to be talking about this for quite some time. Here's something that's very important. This is where he's Nostradamus. I would not want to be a traditional brick and mortar retailer that did not have mobile payments, that did not have social and digital media. Those companies are going to find themselves significantly challenged in 2014 and beyond. He's predicting the future. So am I going to listen to broke cousin Pookie down the corner who wants to go sell tax bot all day? Or am I going to listen to a billionaire who's already sounding the alarm for companies to get prepared for this e-commerce storm that we cannot avoid? I can't break it down any more simple. Oh, wait. It's not over yet. It's not over yet. I forgot. Let me continue reading. Let's see where I leave off that. Okay. For example, Starbucks shoppers booked 1.4 billion on the gift cards last year that haven't even been activated yet. That's a profit for. Can you imagine having $1 billion profit because people bought gift cards that didn't even use them? The amount in gift cards alone could help profit grow several times over the next year if cardholders use them, Schultz said. He also cited investments into express payment systems and less traditional retail outlets as ways the coffee company can survive the online migration disrupting the retail industry. So he's positioning himself. He already thinks, if I don't do something different, I'm going out of business. And it's harder for me because I don't sell coffee online. So I have to do something different. So here's what he's doing different. He's putting investments into express payment systems and less traditional retail outlets. There's going to be a new term. I'm Nostradamus here. You're not going to hear e-commerce online or online retailers. You're going to have a term called e-tailers. Like retailers, it's going to be e-tailers. Get used to that word. So I'm going to read what he says again. He also cited investments in express payment systems and less traditional retail outlets as ways the coffee company can survive the online migration disrupting the retail industry. And quote, that is so emblematic of how Starbucks is benefiting from the convergence of what is happening online and in our stores, Schultz said. He found a way to benefit. That's what billionaires do. And you know, in a good an economy, wealthy people make money, right? In a bad economy, wealthy people make even more money. Why? Because they adapt with the changes while the rest of us is still waiting for the government to bring American jobs back. There is no recession. Just go into an industry where there is no recession. That's the answer. Sales at Starbucks coffee shops rose during the most recent quarter, but failed to meet Wall Street's estimates. The company's Americas region, which includes Starbucks cafes in the US, Canada, Latin America, and the Caribbean, reported that sales picked up by 5% during the last quarter, compared with an estimated 6.4% from analysts. Starbucks shares pushed upward in the first hours of trading on Friday after increasing more than 38% over the past year. So Howard Schultz says, I'm a billionaire and I'm going to remain a billionaire by adapting to the trends of the economy today. Are you adapting to the trends of the economy? Or are you ignoring it? What I am sharing with you guys, I wish I could go on your head and put in there what I know. Because if you understood what I knew, you would be a Star affiliate by tomorrow. You would not sleep until it's done. Because this will be a billion-dollar business. And you are given the opportunity to be a co-owner in that business. In my mind, nothing else matters. I eat, sleep, and dream this business. This is going to set me and my family free. Doesn't matter what's on TV. It doesn't matter what another company's doing. I'm busy. Busy doing what? Whatever it is you're busy doing is busy keeping you broke. This should be the priority financially for your future. And duplicate that and share it with as many people as you possibly can. I will be having what I like to call a family emergency meeting with my family here in California on helping them to understand what is taking place in the industry right now. Since they're all getting to that baby boomer retirement age, my generation is going to be impacted the most. Why? Because my generation is going to have to take care of my parents, myself, and my children. 3 generations are going to be on my generation's shoulders. And if you're not positioned yourself to be able to take care of your family, then you're going to be dependent on somebody else taking care of you. As a man, I can never allow that to happen. As a husband and father, I can never allow that to happen. So come hell or high water, we are making this happen, and we invite you to come on board and just do your part to get started. Once you do your part, then we can go to the next level. Get you to power and help those people get to power. Get you to global power. Help your people get to global power. Get you to diamond. Is everybody cool with that? Who's with me? Who wants to go on this train with me? Because I personally will be doing this with or without you. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of who's going to be there with us when this happens. That's it for the training tonight. I hope you guys got enough out of this. Of course, the people who needed it the most are not here. But no shame. I am going to send this recording out so you can actually give it out to the people on your team. Let them know that this is a must-see training. I'll have it up on the Facebook group. Everybody needs to watch this training. I will give highlights on our team call tomorrow night. But thank you guys for joining us. This is our last week of the month. Go all out in this month strong. I'm going to be watching the reports to see who really just takes the bull by the horn and makes it happen. And I'm going to end tonight, since it is Saturday Night Mindset, with one of my favorite videos that's called Focus on the Goal and Not the Task. There you go. What's the goal? I need to have my two and do my part. Because if everybody does their part, I walk off my job. Focus on the goal and not the task. I'm going to later on, I'm going to have t-shirts made up saying Shopping Sherlock on the front or the back, and then on the other side it says I did my part. Do your part. And you will inspire the people on your team to do theirs. Nobody likes to be the weak link. Do your part. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. My name is Brandon Ivy, Global Power with Shopping Sherlock. Future Diamond member.
In your mind, visualize your hand. Reach out with that hand and grab the teacup. Reach out with the fingers of your mind. Grasp it. Do you have it?
I can feel the handle and the texture of the metal, but I can't move it.
Don't try to move it. Just take a drink from it. In your mind, visualize